everyone, my name is Geneva Brown. I'm a fitness instructor, and part of what we're here to talk about today is stress management. Stress is a part of our everyday life. It is something that we all deal with. It's not something we can escape from, and in and of itself, it is not all bad. However, what we're here to talk about today is how to manage stress, how to say yes to ourselves, to our peace, to reclaim all of the good things that we want out of life without the negative impact of stress stopping us from accomplishing all that we want to accomplish, particularly if we are caregivers and we are required to pour out often into other people. We have to make sure that we manage the stress that we experience so we have the strength to continue to do that. So the first thing I want to talk about a little bit is what is stress. Basically, there are a ton of definitions, but at its core, stress is the physical or psychological impact of a stressor on your life that in some ways stops your body from its normal functioning. All that means is that when you experience a stressor, there's some sort of occurrence that has happened that has an impact on you where your body is not functioning in its normal way. So there is no need to really memorize anything specific because stress is one of those things where it's hard to define because we all feel it. When it shows up in our life, we know exactly what it is. It's stress. And what stress does and what it can do is it can stop our body from processing in the way that it typically does, both on a mental level, so stop our mind from thinking the way it typically does, but also our physical functions too. So when you've experienced stress, you often experience a fight or flight type of experience. What that means is that stress will tell your body that something is coming to attack it. There's something foreign that's causing it to be in peril, and because of that, your body either wants to be prepared to run away or to stand and defend itself. So what your body is thinking is like, I don't know if I'm going to be physically attacked. So all the blood is rushing to my limbs, to my arms, to my legs. My heart is racing. I'm being prepared to either have to jet to somewhere else or I'm being prepared to have to stand here and to fight for my life. What that means is other parts of your body are now not functioning anymore. So a good example is your digestion. That actually often will stop processing normally when you are stressed because your body doesn't realize that it needs to continue to digest. So that's just an example of how our body's functions under stress and how it's different from when your body is functioning when it's not stressed. And so I want you to keep that in mind because it's really, really important to remember that stress does have a really big impact on you that manifests in so many ways. So you can't escape stress, but you can certainly manage it. And the goal should be that you are not under chronic stress. So in short bursts, temporary stress in and of itself is not all that bad. Sometimes there's good stress, sometimes there's bad stress. You're late for a meeting, can be the type of stress that helps you to concentrate and focus and get there on time. But if you're living under chronic stress, what that means is there are parts of you that will start to become unable to get back to that neutral state, that peaceful state, that state where you're not stressed. So what you'll realize is once you're under chronic stress and you're stressed out constantly and there's nothing that you're doing to try to manage that stress, you'll start to experience things like insomnia, issues with digestion we talked about before. You might see your skin breaking out. You might feel parts of your body like your eyelids or your hands shaking. You might see a change in your weight. You might be angry. You might feel depressed. So all of these things can be symptoms of stress. And so because we know stress will be here, what's important for us to know, how do I manage the stress that I know is going to come so I can reclaim my peace? So we will go through a few techniques today. Of course, there are a ton, there are more. I'm going through techniques that will be a little more physical and mental. You could do while you're standing. You can do wherever you are. You do not need a piece of equipment. But I will call out a few options if you would want to use something in the space around you. But again, these are meant to be quick techniques for you to incorporate into your daily life. They fit into your day very easily. So when you experience a stressor, you know, I can pull one of these techniques out my toolbox, help me to manage it so that I'm not piling stress upon stress upon stress without managing it, and I'm in a state of chronic stress that is not allowing my body and my mind to function in its normal state, and you will start to experience more peace. So what you'll realize is the same experience that might have you feeling extremely stressed a few days ago, when you start to incorporate these techniques, will not have the same impact on you, and you will feel more peaceful. So we're gonna go through a few techniques together today. I am standing because standing is easier for me. This is a position of comfort for me. Some people will prefer to sit. Most of these stretches you could do sitting, and by sitting you could be in a chair, feet planted, or you can even be sitting on the floor and your feet can be laid out flat and your back can be toward the wall. So you have so many options. You just want to be in a comfortable position, somewhere quiet where you can focus, or you can have soft music playing on the background if that works for you, but just in a space where you can be free to move a little bit, sit comfortably, stand comfortably. So the first thing we're gonna do are a few breathing techniques. And very often when we breathe, we experience very shallow breaths. So our breath sounds like that because we're just breathing from kind of our neck, our throat area, and breath is just you're taking it because you know you need to breathe in order to stay alive. But I want you to start to think about breath as not just something to keep you alive, something that'll actually feed you, feed your soul, feed your mind, and help you mentally and physically. So the first thing I want you to do is take one hand, doesn't matter if it's the left or right, put one hand on your chest and one hand on your belly. So chest hand on your chest, near your breastplate, your other hand near your navel, and I just want you to breathe normally as you typically would. And if you notice, like most people do, when you're breathing, the top hand, the hand that's on your chest, often moves first. What I want to challenge you to do now is actually breathe with the breath, the inhale and the exhale, both starting from your belly. So instead of breathing from your chest, try to intentionally breathe from your belly. And just give me one breath, inhale and exhale. And that might feel different, right? Because that's not our normal way of breathing, but what we're gonna try to do is start that breath from our belly. And when we do that, we're really gonna completely fill our chest, our lungs with air, and then we're going to contract that breath, and that's gonna slow down our heart rate. That's gonna help our mind to focus because we're thinking about our breathing and not our to-do list. And it'll help us to really ignite that peaceful mechanism within you. So we're gonna do that breath in 3 times. I'm gonna speak it, but of course breathe at your own pace, whatever pace is most comfortable for you. So here we go, one hand at your chest, one hand at your belly, and breathe, inhale, and exhale. Keep these breaths slow. Again, inhale, exhale. Once more, inhale and exhale. Awesome. And hands down slowly at your side. Great job. That's something you can do wherever you are. You might already start to feel more peaceful as you just taken that little bit of time to focus on your breath. And we're going to do a few more breathing techniques to really seal in that feeling of calm. So what we're going to do now is I call push-pull breaths. So I want your hands out in front of you, palms facing you, and I just want you to inhale as you pull your hands towards your body. And I want you to now exhale, and as you exhale, palms face away from your body and push out. Great job. So what we're doing here is simulating the motion of our breaths. We're going to do that 3 times. Again, I will speak it, but you go at your own pace. Inhale. Exhale. Again, inhale. Exhale. Last time, inhale. And exhale. Awesome. One last breathing technique. It's called the breaths in the fetal position. And for those of you who are parents, you might be more familiar with this pose than others. But what we're going to do is we're actually going to use a little more of our body as we breathe. So as we inhale, we're going to come into a fetal position. From the side, how this looks is you're curving your back, your hands are up, your head is down, as if you're curled up into a womb. And then as you exhale, you come up straight and let it out. So we're going to try that 3 times slowly at your own pace, starting with the inhale. Contract your body, head down, back rounded. Exhale. 2 more times. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. Inhale. And exhale. Awesome job. Awesome. So now what we're going to do are static stretches. Static stretches are great because they allow you to stretch parts of your body for a period of time. The first thing we're going to do, just clasp your hands together, make a fist, push your palms out in front of you, and then just push them up to the ceiling, and we're going to hold it here. No movement, no shaking, we're just holding. I like to count to 10. You can count to whatever you want, but try to hold the stretch for 10 to 30 seconds to really feel its benefits. Great job. And continue those deep breaths. Awesome. Now the next thing we're going to do, and it might be a little hard to see, but we're just going to bring that down and hang it down for a rag doll. I realize my hands are disappearing, but I'm just hanging down here like a rag doll, and you can also go there and hold it for 10 to 30 seconds. Another thing we're going to do are wrist stretches, and we're going to palm face front, and we're going to take our hand and just pull our fingertips back. Hold it here. Great job. Awesome. Fingertips down to the floor. Again, pull them towards your body. And we're stretching your wrist because you use your wrist so much for typing on your phone, and we don't give our wrists enough love. Other hand, palm up, fingertips, and pull them back and stretch your wrists. Again, because this is a tutorial, I'm going a bit quickly, but try to hold each pose for 10 to 30 seconds. I'm trending more to 10 seconds, but feel free to hold these for 30 seconds when you do them on your own and stretch. Remember, whenever you're stretching, continue those deep breaths. Awesome job. Awesome, awesome. And then the last thing we're going to do are some contractions. Contractions are going to mean you are going to take all of the force of that stress into one motion, and then you're going to physically let it out. So what that'll be is a very visceral manifestation of actually taking the stress and letting it go. So the first contraction we're going to do is going to be a fist contraction. So I want you to make a fist with both hands and hold that fist tight, so tight that your knuckles start to turn right, and hold it for 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let it out. One huge burst of energy. What we're thinking about is putting all that stress in our wrist and in our fist for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, drop it. Awesome. One more time. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, drop it. Amazing. Last thing we're going to do, similar movement, shoulder shrug. We're going to shrug our shoulders up as if they're touching our ears, and hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let it down. Again, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let it down. Again, all that stress up for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and drop it. Awesome. And then the last thing I want you to do is just stand here, natural position, palms facing up. And for a few breaths, we're just going to focus on our breathing. So I just want you to focus on the air going in your nostrils and out your mouth. Or feeling that breath. Fill your belly up. And then exit, just a few seconds here focused on your breathing. No other thoughts, put out the other thoughts, just focus on your breathing. And as you focus on your breathing, it's said that we have about 68,000 thoughts a day. And the challenge I'll leave you with is, as we focus here, try to focus on positive thoughts. Thoughts about your self-care, thoughts about your self-worth, about your value, about your strength, about things you're grateful for, thankful for. And most importantly, tell yourself, thank you. Thank you for everything you are. Thank you for committing this time to yourself. Thank you for sharing your gifts with the world. Thank you for sharing your love with those who need your care. But most importantly, thank you for loving yourself. My name is Geneva Brown. I really appreciate you spending this time with me today. I will provide my contact information and resources if you have any questions.